We're talking about whether or not there is more pressure on Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie Barefoot, and we are so close to the NBA Finals that I've been seeing a lot on media that it's got to be Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown. Forgetting this duo has been very successful despite adding a piece of hardware to their jewelry box throughout their time in Boston. So I want to break down where the pressure really lies and how can they overcome it. But like I said, we are under a week away from the NBA Finals. Go on ahead and hit that subscribe button for me if you guys have not. We will be live for every single Boston Celtics basketball game, and we're actually having live shows throughout the offseason, so I want you guys to know everything there is to know about your Boston Celtics. Hit that sub button. Help us grow this community. Let me tell you what you should know about Jaylen Brown so far this season, what he has won. He did win the 2024 Eastern Conference Finals MVP. There were some conversations that he possibly got snubbed from all NBA defensive teams and the all NBA team, first team, second team, and third team. And I know that is very speculation, but in my opinion, I do think that he got snubbed from possibly making a third team type of all NBA accolade. But when it comes to the all-defensive team, maybe not. I have seen a lot of defensive plays here in the postseason so far, but maybe not throughout the regular season. And he was an all-star reserve, and he did participate in the dunk contest. So Jaylen Brown has won quite a few things here for himself in his career. But in terms of 2023-24, obviously the most notable was the most recent one, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Jayson Tatum, however, has been doing this. He is more so the superstar of the Celtics. If you ask anybody in Boston who's the face of the franchise, they're going to say Jayson Tatum. And that's okay. You can have a face of the franchise. You should have a face of the franchise. He's a 3-time first-team All-NBA. He had that selection once more this year. And he also had the selection this year to be an all-star starter, which did make his 5th time being an all-time starter, all-star starter. And he lost by 1 vote for the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And when Jaylen Brown did take that award, which, let me tell you, I watched it live. I saw the pure shock on his face, the audible jaw drop, if you will, when they said Jaylen Brown is the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He said, I wasn't expecting that at all. I don't ever win shit. And I don't blame him. It's hard to win the type of accolades that Jayson Tatum is winning because he's on your team. If he was anywhere else, he would obviously be the face of the franchise, the superstar, and there is still debate that he isn't the face of the franchise and the superstar on the Boston Celtics. I think that the two are so great together because they have such similar skill sets. It makes it that much more difficult for opponents to defend the Boston Celtics because if you go and put Jaylen Brown on, let's say, the Houston Rockets, he becomes the number 1 overall. Obviously, you're going to be preparing to face Jaylen Brown. That puts a bigger target on Jayson Tatum's back. Vice versa. They just complement each other so well. Here's what they've done so far in the postseason for their stats. They played 14 games. Tatum averaging 27 points per game, but Jaylen Brown averaging 25. Obviously, the rebounding will be more so in Jayson Tatum's favor. That's what he has titled himself for the Boston Celtics as a leader for the rebounds. The assists, also, I do think he's more of a playmaker, just a little bit more here than Jaylen Brown, obviously, was facilitating the basketball. They're shooting about roughly the same from the field, with Brown taking more shots than Tatum has been. And same thing from the three-point percentage line. About the same. These are two players you want to work in synchronized type of systems. You do not want these guys to be one-on-one or on different teams or against each other. They are best when they're playing together. But that doesn't mean the pressure is not higher for one player than the other. So far in those 14 games throughout the postseason, who do you guys think has performed better? In my opinion, I think Jaylen Brown has performed better, which is a very hard thing for me to say because if you look at the box score, yeah, you can make the case Jayson Tatum has more points, more rebounds, more assists. He's leading the Celtics in every category in this postseason. But for Jaylen Brown, you can also make the argument for clutch time. You can make the argument for defensive plays, for offensive snappiness. It's very different what their two roles are. Type JT for Tatum, type JB for Brown. All right, let me tell you guys real quick about PrizePicks, #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. And let me tell you why I'm playing it every single day that I possibly can. I have won over 15 entries, And I've won over $500 playing the #1 daily fantasy sports app. It's so easy to play. It's also a lot of fun as well. If you're looking for promotions, PrizePicks has got you covered every week, from lowering select players' stat projections on Tuesdays, aka Taco Tuesdays, which increases your chance of getting a win, to getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays, aka Flex Fridays. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. All you got to do is pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can pick minimum 2 players, maximum 6 players, and what I love about PrizePicks is that they're not biased. You want to combine MLB, NHL, NBA, WNBA all together? You can absolutely do so. You guys can go ahead and test your skills on prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. All you guys have to do to win up to 100 times your money is pick more or less. I promise it is that easy to watch yourself win some real money in real time. I personally think Jayson Tatum has more pressure on him. I think Jayson Tatum has been a bigger name in Boston and the NBA for a longer time than Jaylen Brown has. I think Jaylen Brown is a fantastic ball player. And when I say Tatum has more pressure on him, that is no slight to Jaylen Brown's skill set. I think he's a great basketball player. But for Tatum, he has taken on the role of being the face of the franchise. He has. And that's a big responsibility because JT has recently, in the last couple of years, been in MVP conversations. Jayson Tatum has been in, is he the new face of the franchise type of conversations. And those are very select few players that get to be in those type of conversations. And I think Jayson Tatum's stats do back up his accolades in order to be able to be in that type of setting. But the only thing is, Jayson Tatum, to be the MVP, in my opinion, to be the face of the franchise, he needs the ring. He needs the ring to elevate his status. Jaylen Brown needs the ring to become more trustworthy, to become more respected in the NBA by opponents, in my opinion. But I can also see it on the other chip that Jaylen Brown is the highest paid player in the NBA right now. So there could be a lot of speculation if they don't win. What are you paying Jaylen Brown for? He can't get you a ring. There's conversations about this in quarterbacks, conversations about this in home run hitters, conversations about this now in potentially your #2 in Boston, who is the highest paid player in NBA. If he can't help you get a ring, why is he worth all that money? I can see that pressure rising above Jaylen Brown's head that Jayson Tatum can't touch because he's not in that category just yet. But Alan Hahn actually broke this down in a way that I couldn't summarize it better myself. Here's what he had to say on NBC Sports Boston, and he also said on Get Up ESPN. They're under 2 different pressures. I think for Jayson Tatum, it's the pressure to prove that he's a winner, and that's been the question around Jayson Tatum is whether or not he can win like the greats, like Larry Legend. For Jaylen Brown, it's the pressure to prove that he's an equal and that he belongs among the elite mention among them. So Jaylen Brown, in my opinion, is not necessarily in the Jayson Tatum conversations just yet. Not saying he shouldn't be, but that's just how it is. He's not in the media the same way Jayson Tatum is. And the media has been taking that to the next level, in my opinion. Holy cow. They're pinning the two against each other, which is what you don't do. You want to talk about Tatum if he's doing enough to win you the finals? That's fine. That's a whole different conversation. But what you're not going to do is say that Jayson Tatum's not happy for his teammate that finally won an NBA Eastern Conference Finals MVP when Tatum won it back in 2022. They took this picture and said Tatum was not happy for his teammate. They showed a picture of him smiling and said, yeah, no, I just don't think he's happy for his teammate the way that he should be. Look at everybody else. They're smiling, they're happy, they're laughing. Tatum has done nothing but support his brother on the court. He was even in the dunk contest with him as a piece to help him try to win that award. Tatum does not give a shit about any award except for NBA Final. And I may be speaking for him, but I guess if you were to ask him, that's probably what he would say. It's always been the Jays against the world. They've had the same handshake since 2018. They've been doing the damn thing for several years together. And now all of a sudden the narrative has switched to, well, you can't have two superstars in your team. Watch them. Watch them. Watch them win the NBA Finals with two superstars in their team. And then come back to me. Can the Jays lead Celtics to banner 18? I know the question around the media recently has been, can Tatum lead the NBA? Can Jaylen Brown step up and be the highest paid player in the NBA? No. Can the Jays do this together? Comment why or why not in the comment section down below. While you guys are at it, hit that sub button for me if you haven't already. We'll be live for every single Boston Celtics basketball game for the NBA Finals, and I want you to be along there with us. Hit that subscribe button for me. I promise you guys will not regret it.